can't get any words. Podcast on blast, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, you sad motherfuckers? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. I thought I'd better come in here this week and fire off on a bit of a fucking high energy rant. I don't know. Who fucking knows? What do you guys reckon about that as well? The what's going on, you sad motherfuckers? So it's a bit of a, what do you call it when you like someone so much? An homage? I think that's the word. I think it's an homage. So everyone knows I like Uncle Joey Diaz, and he always starts off all his fucking content with what's happening, you bad motherfuckers. Obviously because he's an ex-criminal and fucking one of the baddest cunts out there. And I was like, oh, I like Uncle Joey so much. How could I tie that into me? Oh my God, I'm like the saddest motherfucker ever. What's going on, you sad motherfuckers? So I don't know. I don't know if that'll stick. Feels right. Feels a little bit right. I'm going to be pretty jittery here, and I don't know if I'm going to make it to the hour. Obviously, you guys listening to this will realize this is coming out a day later. So it's Wednesday in your world, Tuesday in my world. So Tuesdays is when this is supposed to drop if I'm a committed and dedicated podcaster. But we've had a couple of issues the last few days. So let's fucking dig into it, hey? Let's start it off. We'll address the elephant in the room. I came on here probably, 3 or 4 months ago, and said that I had a knee injury, a bit of a torn meniscus with some arthritis and some fucking cysts and whatever else in my knee, right? Let me have a little sip. And recently, last week, right, I hurt my knee again, very badly. And you're probably sitting there wondering, oh, James, you said you wanted to go back on a fitness kick. Did you hurt it doing that? No. Oh, James, you said you've been flat out with work at the moment doing cabinet making shit. Did you hurt it delivering a kitchen? No again. Oh, what the fuck could it be then? I don't know. Maybe last Tuesday afternoon, I was leaning down and put a potato bake in the oven and just felt a fucking snap in my knee. So again, not the coolest way to hurt your knee. It's like when you get a scar or something and everyone's like, oh, you should say you got it in a fucking skating accident or a shark bite or something. So it's probably the lamest way you can hurt your knee again, just slapping a potato bake in the oven. But that's how it happened. But I'm sure that the work and the gym they were like the build up for it, and just that one sudden movement of bending down and twisting to put in a fucking oven. That's what made it go a pop. So I've been in this time has been a lot more painful than the first time. So that sucks, but pushing through it. Because of that, I had to go up to the hospital on Saturday. That was the first time I caved, and I was like, nah, I got to go get it looked at again. I thought I could get it to come good again, but the pain, like I said, pain was fucking insane. So went up to the hospital, wasted my entire Saturday up there just for them to go, oh, we can't do what we need to do here until you go to your GP, get a referral from them, and then come back to us. And I was like, that sounds like a complete waste of time, but I understand it's the weekend. You're probably short-staffed, even though it's like a hospital and you've got a rotating shift, blah, blah, blah. Sure, if that's what's going to happen, let's fucking do it. So they go, here's a bunch of fucking endone and shit. Go home and have the sickest weekend of your life, dosed up to the gills. And if pain increases or you start to feel numbness, please come straight back. So I get home Saturday, and then I am home all day Sunday, resting the fuck out of my leg, right? I did nothing but sit on the couch playing PlayStation all day Sunday. Little bit of this and that here and there, fucking getting up and getting food and playing with the kids as much as I could. But then Sunday night, trying to get to sleep, I was fucking like screaming, just clutching my leg, no matter how I laid, how I sat, nothing. I couldn't get this thing comfortable, right? So I was like, fucking Monday morning, I'm going to have to go back up to the hospital. I know they said you've got to wait for your GP, but they also said if pain increases, and I also woke up with numbness, sorry. So the two things they said come back for, I was like, I've got no other choice. So I'll skip the GP and I'll go up to the hospital because surely now it's Monday. They'll have their fucking MRI staff there, whatever they've got to do, right? And yeah, I got up there and just fucking chaos at a hospital, at the Logan Hospital. I know it's got its what's that word? Stigma or I don't know, reputation or whatever of being just like the shitty hospital, blah, blah, blah. But I personally have never really had an issue with it, right? Whenever I've gone there for something, they've normally fixed me up pretty well and got me back on the road. So I got up there yesterday, mum dropped me off, and the waiting room was fucking packed. Like every seat taken, and every cunt in there just looked like they were on their last legs. So I was like, all right, here goes my Monday. So I've settled in. I'm playing my podcasts and whatever else in my ears to try and keep me occupied. And I'm like, back of my head, I'm sitting there going, fuck, I've got to get home. I don't think anyone in this waiting room realizes I've got to get home and record the lowest listened to podcast in Australian history for like the 3 people that listen to this to listen to on their Tuesday. I don't think they were aware of that. But so I'm sitting there stressing out as to when the fuck I'm going to get this recorded. And just the amount of chaos and shit that you see come through a waiting room in a hospital, it's insane. Like, thank fuck I don't work there. I also just realized I've got my shorts on again today. So you're welcome to all the visual listeners. Hopefully I don't pop a nut. But yeah, this is the worst one. And again, no, not throwing any shade or anything on it, but Ash and Adrian and I spoke about it back in the early days of the podcast. There's just something about this that gives me the heebie-jeebies or whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? So I'm sitting in the waiting room and this girl comes in with her parents. She's bawling her eyes out. She doesn't want to fucking be there. And her dad goes and checks her in and blah, blah, blah. And then the nurse comes over and they're sitting like right beside me, right? Because it's jam-packed. We're shoulder to shoulder. And the nurse goes, okay, we need to inspect what you've done so that we can get you in quicker. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what's happened here? What sort of accident has this little girl got herself into? Like, she would have been, I don't know, 14 or so if I had to throw a dart. And she's pulled her hoodie off and she's just got her fucking wrist all bandaged. And I'm like, oh, no, this is not fucking happening right now. And the nurse has started to peel back the bandage. And I'm like, this is fucked. I cannot sit here and look at this. And as soon as the bandage came off, like the bandage was red. It was fucked. And yeah, this poor girl had sliced at her arm, which obviously, like I said, no fucking shade. Everyone goes through their own ways to deal with it or whatever. I don't think it's probably the best way to go about it, but that's probably because I don't have the fucking balls to go and do that. But yeah, and it's a pretty intense thing to see that close, just fucking brutal. Anyway, let's move on, right? So I get through that part and then they go, James missing. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm out of the waiting room. I'm in the clear. And they just take me. The waiting room is here. Then there's 2 double doors. And they just take me from the waiting room to the other side of the double doors. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So that was lame. Then I just sit in a second waiting room for the next 4 hours. And again, I thought I was out of the clear in there of all the fucking craziness. And the P.S, I'm glad this hospital visit happened because I had fuck all to talk about this week, to be honest. Anyway, I get in there and again, I'm in this seat and bed 1, she is a fucking lunatic. She thought this hospital was specially built just for her on this day. She was demanding and rude and fucking just... I wanted to pull my shoe off and throw it at her. She's just been a little cunt. But anyway, the nurses have been super polite. They're doing their job to her, right? And I didn't know what she was in there for until it all happened. The nurses go in there. They're like, look, we've had an emergency come in. We've all got to go to theatre because we're extremely short-staffed today, which obviously we all knew. We're all in the waiting room earlier. And this chick goes, that's not good enough. You guys are not treating me as a priority. You guys don't care if I die or what happens to me. And she just starts being the most dramatic fuck I've ever heard. So like I'm having a giggle to myself, and the nurse is like, look, we understand this is very painful for you, blah, blah, blah. And this lady goes, and thank fuck like everything they were talking about, right? It all alluded to she didn't have something quite right downstairs, right? Because she was saying, it hurts, I need an internal, it's fucking like discharge, all the fucking gross words, right? So I alluded to this in my head that she's got a bit of a vaginal problem, and I did not want to be any part of it. Thank fuck the nurses had the curtain 3/4 of the way pulled shut when this happened, because all I hear is her go, she lost it to the nurses, and then she goes, I need you guys to do something because does this look fucking normal to you guys? And then I just heard a brief pause, like a silence in the room of like the 3 nurses that were in there almost like gasp, and it was just a silence fell across the whole hospital. And they're like, okay, we'll go and talk to our senior and see if there's something we can do about that. Anyway, nurses dropped everything. They didn't even end up going to theatre. They came and gave this chick whatever she wanted, an internal, blah, blah, blah. She's ringing the bell every fucking 2 seconds. And I'm like, dude, there's a million other people here that need attendance as well. It's not just about you. They do all this shit for her, and then she just goes, oh, I'm going to check myself out because you guys aren't doing what I need you to do. And it's like, the nurses were obviously pissed off at her, and like I was frustrated that I had to sit here and listen to this bitch whine just for her to go, oh, I've had enough, I'm going home. Like, fucking give me the bed. Let me fix my knee. And then another old cunt, he was typical, like, I don't want to say it, but I think he might have been on the old glass barbecue, a little bit cracked out. He's cruising around the halls, right, and he's bouncing around, and every time he walked past, I'd pull my laptop bag a little bit closer to me and go, oh, geez, this could be the time that I have to throw down with a broken knee. But he must have got his discharge letter or whatever, and he's come flying around the corner to the nurse that's talking to the next girl that's next to me. And she's young, she's like 10 or something, and she had to get the cannula or whatever the fuck it's called. So she's having the worst time of her life. She's bawling her eyes out. I hate needles, fucking blah, blah, blah. And I felt bad for her. Then this crackhead comes flying around to the nurse that's trying to do the needle, and he's like, you guys told me I don't have a fucking infection in my hand. What the fuck does this say right here? Like, infection in hand, blah, blah, blah. And he's losing it. And he's like screaming this nurse's ear off for probably a minute, right? And she goes, look, I'm so sorry if they said there's no infection, so I don't know why they've written it there. And he's gone, well, you fucking tell me, blah, blah, blah. And he's like waving the letter in her face. And I'm like, dude, this is fucking too much. But she's like, okay, show me the letter. And she starts reading it, and she goes, well, no, what this says is the reason for your visit is suspected infection in hand. And then down below it says no infection found. And then he could not comprehend this in his head. He's like, so why have you written on this paper that I've got an infection in my hand? And she's like trying to explain as simple as she can. She's like, no, this says the reason for your visit is a suspected infection of your hand. But down here it says it's been proven you don't. And this cunt loses it again, starts fucking kicking like the wall and shit. And I'm like, fuck me. Like, give these cunts a break. I almost wanted to go around to the like 3 nurses or whatever that were near me and just sneak them $50 and go, this fucking sucks that you have to deal with this every fucking day. And then like 2:30 comes around. I don't know. I don't remember what time I got out of there. And this dude comes up to me and he just goes, sorry to keep you waiting, but there's nothing we can do to help you today. Here's another fucking letter referring you back to your GP to get him to refer you back to us. And I'm like, mate, surely there's fucking something you can do. And yeah, basically spent the whole day at hospital again, all day Monday for fucking nothing. So that sucks. So then I started to jump on board with the stinky pussy chick and the crackhead and be like, fuck the Logan Hospital. But yeah, I know it's not their fault. I basically just grabbed my laptop bag and said, laters in the Menjay. That probably doesn't make sense to you guys, but to Nikita and I, that's fucking hilarious. That's I don't even know what movie it's from, but it's from a Paul Rudd movie. It popped up on my feed over the weekend, and fuck, what is the movie? I don't know. Just Google Paul Rudd Laters in the Menjay, and it's basically him having an awkward conversation with one of his friends, and he's like, yeah, I will see you there or I will not see you there. And he's just trying to be cool on the phone, and it's exactly what I'd do. And the dude's like, wait, am I going to see you there? Are you going to come? And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to come. And he's like, oh, sweet, I was just confused at what the fuck you said. And then he goes, he didn't know how to say goodbye, so he's like, laters in the Menjay, and hangs up the phone, and he just sits there in silence and says, what the fuck did I just say? And I've had so many experiences like that. But yeah, that's why the podcast is late. How the fuck did that? A 15-minute rant. That's not too bad. 15 minutes on the Logan Hospital. I didn't know I had that in me, but there we go. What else? All right. Let's fucking double into. Thank you for the love and fucking whatever else you want to call it on episode 100. One of the funnest ones in a very long time. Like I've said before, if there was any way that we could make like the three of us a weekly fucking thing again, hands down, it would be the funnest podcast in the world to record and put out there. The clip that we put out was one of my favorite clips to put together in a very long time, just with the smelling salts. But yeah, obviously not possible at this time. So whenever they're around the area, they'll be here to chat absolute fucking dribble. But can we just say, we recorded that on Saturday, right? Last Saturday. Ready to release on the Tuesday. That was the one day in that week period that worked for all three of us with family commitments and fucking work, blah, blah, blah. And we recorded that on the Saturday. Half an hour into the episode, what does old Ashley Epstein gift me? I swear every time this cunt comes on the podcast, he just tries to cancel me with fucking Cosby, everything, right? He gifts me the Make America Great hat again. Or, yeah, whatever, fucking the MAGA hat. And in the moment, I was like, fuck, that's funny as fuck. Let's put it on. So I rock a Make America Great hat again, the whole episode, right? And thought nothing of it. I was like, that is a bit of comedic humor, but like always, it comes back and bites me in the ass, because what happened on the fucking Sunday? Nikita's friend had her daughter's birthday party over on the north side of Brisbane. So I'm cruising over there. I'm driving. I've got my tunes popping, and I'm just going over the Gateway Bridge, and my phone goes off, and it's a message from Ash, and I'm like, what the fuck could that be? Anyway, I keep driving, and then there's another message from Adrian, and then they go back and forth maybe like 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, what the fuck could be that important? And I've just touched my phone, like just so the screen lights up, and all I see is, holy fuck, Trump just got shot in the head. And I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. The episode that we just wasted all that time recording, I'm making a mockery of the Make America Great hat again. The whole fucking election thing that we ripped on last week with Biden, blah, blah, blah. And now Trump's been shot in the head and he's fucking dead. And I'm like, holy shit. Thank fuck the kids had to go to the toilet. So just as you get over the gateway, there's like a service center. So I've pulled in there. They've gone in to go to the toilet, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm stressing out that we can't release episode 100. I'm like, there's no way that we can't release episode 100. I'm on full fucking crisis control. And then I start reading news articles, and I'm starting to realize, okay, Trump's not dead. Ash is a fucking little exaggerating bitch who likes to freak me out. And the messages from Adrian back to Ash is like, oh, okay, he's not dead, blah, blah, blah. So I start to calm down a little bit. And then Adrian puts this fucking little morsel in my brain. He goes, because I'm like, oh, fuck, I thought we couldn't release the episode because something had happened. And Adrian goes, oh, well, of course, this is fucking scientific Adrian. Thank fuck there's no one playing with my buttons this week. Holy fucking Jesus. He goes, oh, there's still a chance he could die because there's like potentially the bullet could have been laced with something, or the where he got hit in the ear could get infected while he's in hospital. He could die from an infection. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I've just calmed myself down. So, yeah, I was peaking pretty hard. But obviously, I'm not going to delve too much into it because if there's anyone in the world that knows absolutely nothing about politics, it's this guy right here. For whatever reason, it's just never interested me. I've never got on board with it because as far as I can see, like my whole growing up, everyone was like, oh, the election's coming up, blah, blah, blah. And to me, affecting me personally, nothing's really fucking changed. It seems that no matter who's in charge, prices go up. There's all these fucking promises and stuff that get made, and I don't know. Nothing has really happened that's affected me that much. And again, some of you listening might go, listen to this fucking cunt. This is the reason people get put in charge, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, like I said, here's a fucking hot take for you guys that is probably going to piss off some listeners. I don't even know who the Prime Minister of Australia is at the moment. I stopped worrying about that shit when there was like a 2-year period where we had like 28 prime ministers in a row just because they all kept like backstabbing each other and stepping down and fucking like, I don't even remember who that was, like Kevin Rudd, Julia Gillard, whoever fucking else was there, right? But yeah, so what I'm about, again, I'm not going to delve in it too much, but I don't know fuck all. So I'm just talking absolute dribble and nonsense. So just bear with me. But obviously there's a heap of conspiracy theories flying around. A lot of them look pretty fucking probable. Like, I don't know how the fuck a 20-year-old kid or whatever can sneak a rifle past all those Secret Service people, police, blah, blah, blah. Then there's the videos going around of people like pointing him out to the cops going, there's a fucking dude on the roof with a gun, and the cops are like, oh, we can't do anything. Obviously, Ash is the conspiratorial one of us all. I go to him all the time. I'm like, hey, Ash, should we be worrying about this right now? And he'll go, well, actually, I heard on the Timcast or whatever the fuck he listens to. And I'm just like, yes or no? Do I need to build a bunker? And he'll go, not quite yet. Anyway. So I don't know what's fucking going on. But one thing I do know, this election is fucking the weirdest political thing I've ever seen in my lifetime, right? Just for do we call it an assassination attempt? I don't know. People are, so let's throw it out there. I suppose it is. Someone shot at an ex-president and someone running for presidency. So let's call it an assassination attempt. Then I don't know. Again, I don't want to get conspiratorial, but to get the limelight back, a couple of days later, Biden gets COVID, the most dangerous and infectious disease that's swept our generation. So now the limelight's back on Biden, and it's like, holy fuck, this dude got shot a couple of days ago, and now it's just feels like it was 10 years ago. Everyone's just moved on. And then they come back out. Trump's got like a little fucking ear pillow on his ear, and they're back into it. And then Biden steps down, and this is what made it a complete circus to me, right? The last press conference, or whatever the fuck they call it, they had Dana White, the president of the UFC, come out and endorse Trump. Fair enough, okay? Dana is one of the most successful business people in American history. What he's built in everything that he's put his hands on is fucking gold, right? So not a bad endorsement as off-center to like political it can get, I suppose. But then after that, I see clips coming out of, picture this, right? It's a presidential fucking press conference, and then the big screen at the back starts playing Hulk Hogan, the WWE Legends fucking theme song, in the middle of a presidential debate. And then he comes out doing his full fucking WWE walkout, and then gives a speech and does the Hulk Hogan rip of his shirt to just a Trump shirt. And I'm like, what? How is this like, how does this have anything to do with politics? And it's exactly like we spoke about last week of Shane Gillis's like little joke he's done of how Trump just has the ability to, instead of making an election something boring like, oh, we believe in religion or we believe in fucking whatever you want to, whatever. I'm not going to say anything else that might get me in trouble. And then Trump just blows the doors off by getting old WWE wrestlers to come do their walkout song, getting the UFC president. He's just delving into that like deep America. Yeah, fucking America. Like Team America, World Police. That's who's going to be on the next press conference. But yeah, Biden stepped down. Now Kamala Harris is back in the race. So, well, not back in the race. She's in the race. And I don't know what the fuck's going on. All I know is Donald Trump was paying $2 on Sportsbet the other day. And I kind of wish I put some money on it because now he's down to like $1.20. So, anyway, back on the episode 100. There, I spoke on 99 about like boosting a couple more things in the studio, right? Obviously, as you guys saw on the set last week, we've gone a little bit more out. We've got some couches, some more mic stands, built some shelving, some more wall paneling, displayed some shit over there, blah, blah, blah. And I spoke that I would be like buying new cameras and setting up like multicam, blah, blah, blah. And had a good chat to old Adrian that was here last week before episode 100. And I was just like, this is what I'm looking at doing. This is what I'm looking at buying, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, look, you can do all that if you want, but he more or less said I wouldn't waste your money at this stage, which he's 100% accurate. For as big as this podcast is at the moment and as many views as we get on YouTube, we get way more audio downloads than visual views on YouTube, which then doesn't make sense to increase the visual aspect to try and boost. Like, in a way it makes sense, but until we grow that next bit, it doesn't really make sense. At this stage, whoever's watching or listening is watching and listening, and until somehow we get another boost in the algorithm, or I don't even fucking know, we get a huge guest on that just blows this thing off, right? Just didn't really make sense. And then after Adrian said that, I just spoke about him just before. My favorite podcast for the last 12 months or so, maybe even more now, has been Matt and Shane's secret podcast, which is Shane Gillis and Matt McCusker. And the way those two just banter off each other is the funniest shit you'll ever see. Like, if you go on YouTube and just type in Matt and Shane's secret podcast, best bits or whatever, there's so many compilations on there that will just get you howling from start to finish. And I was watching one of these compilations the other week, and I noticed they're fully, since they started, they've just been a single cam podcast of just a camera, just the two of them in frame. Every now and then they'll chop between the two of them, but still from the one camera. But they're like the last couple of months, I think they've introduced a couple more cameras and things like that. But they've grown to the biggest podcast on Patreon. Like, out of all the podcasts, they've got the biggest one on Patreon, which is like a paid platform. Obviously, I'm not to that level yet, but fuck, I wish I could get some Patreon happening, get some money behind this thing. But where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. So I saw those two basically build the platform and empire, I guess you'd say, that they've built just off a single cam. And I'm like, why the fuck would I need to go to that level? And you guys saw the clip from last week. I thought I chopped it together pretty cool between the three of us just off the one camera. So, and that was another big reason why I wanted more than one camera, so that I could chop between all the guests and stuff when we get them. But I think I just proved to myself that I can do that with the equipment and shit that I have at the moment. So hopefully you guys are happy with how things are at the moment. And when we start getting to like 100, 200, fucking 500 views on YouTube, then I'll go, okay, it's time to grow again. Let's fucking boost this shit. But at the moment, we're getting fuck all. We're getting like 15 to 20 views a week, which does not justify a new camera, plus the double the amount of time it'll take me to chop up between cameras in editing and things like that. So don't want to fucking go, woe is me, cry me a river, but hopefully you guys can understand that, where I'm coming from. Alrighty, where are we sitting at? About half an hour. Okay, sweet. We're cruising pretty good today because I don't have a great deal to talk about at the back end of this episode. So let's get into weekend comedy. So I was back at a Prey Surf on Thursday. And obviously, as I spoke about, I had a bit of a bomb there the other day, or 2 weeks ago now. So I was like, this is fucking redemption, blah, blah, blah. And I was limping like a motherfucker on my knee, almost pulled out because I was in so much pain. And I was like, nah, I got to go fucking do it. I got to go redeem myself, get down there. And this crowd, it was nowhere near as big as the previous week. It was probably half the size. Like there would have been, I don't know, 15 people there, maybe 15 people. But these 15 people were there like to hear whatever the fuck you were saying. Like there were a couple guys there. I think one dude was doing it his first time and then another one had done comedy. Like this was his third set or something. And they both got up and had absolute fucking crusher sets. And they didn't have anyone there that they knew. They were just, it was a random crowd and they crushed and like stoked for them that they could have that big of a crush that soon into their like hopeful career or whatever they want to do with it. But then that put a bit of pressure on me because I was like, fuck, I hope I don't bomb after these like newer guys just blew the roof off this place. So I got up and luckily enough, they fucking loved my shit. And I had a bit of back and forth with a dude that was like in the front table. And I'm thinking about, luckily I recorded it because there are a couple of moments in there that I think I might be able to make another clip out of for social media. I'll probably have a play with that maybe tomorrow at this stage. See how we go. But yeah, fucking sick gig. I'm back there. Well, I'll plug it at the end, but I'm back there again this Thursday for the last time in a little while. But yeah, stoked that they gave me three Thursdays in a row. So hopefully I can cap it off with another crush this week. Just trying to think if anything else interesting happened at that gig. I don't think so. I think that was pretty much it. But anyway, Friday night, had the big old drive up to the sunny coast that, again, we awkwardly plugged at the end of last week's episode. Thanks a lot again, Ash. So all week, Ash is like, oh, I'll fucking come and watch ya. And I was like, no pressure, don't fucking come watch me. I'm probably not going to do any new gear, blah, 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 blah. That's what I wanted to touch on at a pray. I ran another new bit, which that's made the last couple of weeks. And again, it's a stupid thing to say out loud. It makes complete sense. But the last couple of weeks I've tried to run, if not a brand new bit, a bit that I either did way back when I started comedy and I try to rewrite it on stage, or it's a bit that I've only done a couple of times and it like hasn't really worked, and again, try and fucking make it work. So it's given like comedy a little rejuvenation again. I'm not just going and punching my same 5 or 10. And yeah, these newer bits, I don't know if it's because I'm excited to say them that the crowds are reacting well to them. I don't know. But anyway, I did a new bit on Thursday night. In the moment, felt like it fucking crushed, right? So cruising up to the sunny coast, I was like, oh, I'll do that new bit again. Try work on it a little bit again on stage, get it to where I wanted. I listened to this bit on the drive up to the sunny coast and I'm like, fuck, that did not land anywhere near as good as I thought it did in the moment. Like it obviously had its laughs and stuff like that. But I just, the set I did on Thursday was 10 minutes. The set I was doing Friday night was 5 minutes. So I was like, I want to make the drive to the sunny coast worth it, if that makes sense. So I want a good tight 5 that'll make me feel good about myself. So Ash is like, I'm coming. And I'm like, yeah, sweet. Anyway, halfway up to the sunny coast, he texts me. He's like, what time are you on? Katie's still not home. I don't know if I'm going to make it. If you're on late, then I'll fucking still come, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I said again, I'm like, look, I'm not trying any new bits. So don't fucking stress. Don't waste your time. And then he hits me with, no, I'll come. He's like, just to make it worth it for me, can you run that new bit that we spoke about last week about the jizz in the toilet paper? And I was like, holy fuck, that would actually be funny to not only try that bit in a comedy setting, but B, let Ash listen to something that he like wrote in front of a crowd. I thought that'd like be pretty cool for him. So the last 15 minutes of my drive, I just started rehearsing that bit. And then I don't know why, but as I was saying it out loud, I was like, I don't know if it's 100%, like it's funny just him saying it to us, but I don't know if it'll work well in a comedy setting. So then I did a slight rewrite on it just to make it completely sound natural, like I just thought about it on the drive up there. And I'm not going to blow it because hopefully I get Ash's full written permission in the court of law. I think that's going to be my new opener now because it just catches the crowd so off guard. And it was probably the most hard-hitting joke of my set just because it sounded like I was just coming to the stage with just a random thing that just happened to me, and then I hit him with that punchline, and they just fucking once I had him there, I had him for the rest of the set. It was just a fucking incline from there. So Ash actually messaged me the following day because I recorded it and sent it to him and Adrian. They're like, ha ha ha. And Ash basically said that we're now living out the real life South Park episode of where I think, is it Jimmy? Jimmy and Cartman write a joke together, but basically Cartman does zero work, but he says it to the public first and gets full credit. I forget, what was the joke? What are you, a gay fish? That's right. The one they do about Kanye. That, funny as fuck. Go watch it. But yeah, basically Ash is now my ghostwriter. Any jokes that you hear on stage, whether they be racist or whatever, just send all your emails and DMs to Ash Epstein on Instagram. But yeah, I think I just alluded to it. Made the drive to the sunny coast way worth it. That venue is so sick. That's probably one of the coolest venues I've got to do comedy in. Like, I pulled up out the front and it's just this old school diner / garage looking place. And then you go inside and it's just been kitted out as like comedy was upstairs and it was almost like not quite a whiskey lounge, but like they just had like animal heads on the walls. I don't know, like lodgy feel. I don't know. But yeah, cool as fuck. Cool drive. I'm up the sunny coast again in 2 weeks, I think. Back at Soul Bar, which is always another fun gig. So appreciate the funny coast guys giving me some spots, which is always nice. They'll never hear that. So if you guys heard that, send them a DM and go, hey, can we get more Jimmy Misson on the sunny coast? We love that guy. He's hilarious. But fucking cameras are going off like a demon out there. Where are we sitting at? Yeah, nah, sweet. We've got heaps of times. Everyone chill out. But what do we got into this week? So, again, we touched on this a little bit last week, the Eminem album, but I heard a cool story come from it this week that I thought needed to be brought up on the podcast. So there's a song on there, and I don't even think we spoke about this last week, but it's called Temporary, and it's basically a song that Eminem wrote for his daughter, Haley, for when he dies, which is obviously, as a parent listening to that, sad as fuck, tugs at the heartstrings, blah, blah, blah. And he's teamed up again with Skylar Gray, who does the chorus on it, which Ash said last week he hates it when he teams up with fucking pop artists and stuff like that to sing the chorus. But I love that shit. And she's, again, just come in and nailed this chorus. Just works perfectly for this song. Makes it so much sadder and emotional. Everything you need to make that song work, right? And she's come out this week and she basically said for the last 12 to 18 months, I think she said, she's been suffering with crazy writer's block, which, again, I'm nowhere near her level or any of the pro comedians levels or anything like that gets writer's block. But writing this like hour show that I'm trying to put together, the last month or so, I've been crazy struggling with like, I hit a point in it and I was like, I don't know where the fuck to take it from here because I've got the big stories that we've all spoken about in there. And I forget which one I got to, but it was like, fuck, where do you go to from that? And I was just trying to write all these bits that would come off it and nothing was working. And then probably 2 weeks ago, I was like, holy fuck, that's like came to me instantly. And now I'm just on this next tangent on it and it's just working out perfectly. Stoked with where it's getting to. But yeah, she goes, I was struggling with this writer's block and all of a sudden this like melody or whatever came to me and she wrote the chorus for Temporary. She didn't know what the fuck to do with it. She sent it to Eminem and goes, hey, can you do anything with this? And he goes, fucking oath I can. I want to write this song to Haley. And they just put this masterpiece together and release it. And she came out and she's like, look, to any writers or anything like that are struggling with writer's block, she's like, I was in there with pen and paper every single day waiting for something to come out. Nothing would come. And I don't know how or why, but this song came to me and it just made the last 12 months worth all that fucking pain and suffering and things like that just for this song to come out and like blow up the way it has. It was cool. It was cool to hear that little behind the scenes thing. Hopefully you guys thought it was cool. You probably fucking don't, because you are always like, oh, why the fuck does James bring this to the table? Because I think it's fucking cool, all right? Anyway, like I said just before, bit of writer's block. Didn't know where to go with it all. So what I like to do when I hit those periods is go back and watch some, like, it's almost like comfort watching, I suppose, but some comedy specials that have tickled my funny bone in the past. So I kicked it off this week with Taylor Tomlinson, her first special on Netflix, Quarter Life Crisis. Hilarious. My wife, Nikita, and I had never heard of her before we watched this. It just popped up on Netflix one day. We're like, who the fuck is this chick? We put it on and we just laughed from start to finish. Hilarious. And the fact that she wrote that and got it out by the time she was 25, insane. So go give that a watch if you haven't seen that. Guaranteed laughs from start to finish. And it just, like, I highlighted a couple of bits and showed Nikita when she got home. I was like, oh, fuck, remember these bits, blah, blah, blah. And again, she was howling again, and she almost wanted to go back and watch the special again, but she doesn't do that type of shit. Second one I watched, Andrew Schulz's Infamous special that he released probably, 2 years ago now. Something that blew my mind on this was, what got me into Schulz was he's like quick jokes, like bang, 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 punchline after punchline. And that was what like everyone knew him for and things like that. Then during the pandemic, no one could do comedy, so he made that show for Netflix, Schulz Saves America, I think it was, which was legit just down the barrel of a camera, delivering punchline after punchline after punchline of just everything going on in the news. Like, one of the best at it, right? For sure. And the Infamous special was a lot like that, just a couple of little stories here and there, but it was more just bang, 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 just getting you after like heap of crowd work, things like that. And then I don't know if I forgot about that, but I was like, when I went and watched his live tour last year, or was it started this year? I don't remember. But yeah, when I went and saw that, he more tackled the storytelling aspect of like his life and stories from his life. And I didn't even pick up on that at the moment. I was just like, this is some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. And I said that on the podcast, that it was probably the best comedy live show I've ever seen in person. So it was nuts then to think of how he's like rebranded himself now that he's married and a parent and things like that, to more that storytelling side. And again, when he does release that live show that he's touring at the moment as a special, hands down going to be one of the best specials ever released. The dude is fucking crazy. But there was a bit on the Infamous special that I completely forgot about until I rewatched it. And this thing had me almost in tears of, if you haven't seen the Infamous special, spoiler alert, pause this, go watch it, whatever the fuck you want to do. But I'm going to talk about one of his bits that I found just the simplest concept put into this master-crafted joke was just hilarious. And it was basically his girlfriend's into watching murder documentaries, things like that. And she watched a documentary and it was a girl gets murdered and raped in a park, jogging in a park. And he's like, she finished this documentary and what'd she go do? She went and jogged in a park. And he's like, girls just have no fear about this shit. He's like, just so we're all clear, if a headline ever comes out, Schulz got raped jogging in a park, he's like, I want all you guys to realize I was running as fast as I can. He's like, no one was fucking jogging during this experience. And then he just goes on this tangent of like getting this Jamaican sprinter to come to his family barbecue and just tell everyone how fast he was trying to run before he raped him. Funny shit. Just go, even YouTube it. Just type in Schulz rape jogging or something and the bit will come up. Funny as shit. But just the way that these huge comedians can get the simplest premise or concept and just write this bit about it. And it's like, how the fuck did I not see that in the real world? And write this masterful joke about it. But I'm sure something will come. Maybe Ash's jizz joke. Which, yeah, I don't know. I'm still struggling to come to terms with using that as one of my own jokes. But I spoke to a couple of the comedians up on the sunny coast, and I'm like, look, my mate wrote this joke that I'm going to open with. What do you guys think? Can I use it, or is it frowned upon? And they're like, look, if he's gifted you a joke, like, fucking go nuts. If he's not a comedian that's going to use it, then there's no point in it just like dying in the bottom of a hole. Like, get that shit out there, which made sense. And then on the drive home, I was like, again, all these big comedians that I just spoke about, Schulz, he's got his mates that he has like almost like a writing staff that he throws his jokes back and forth with. They help him write jokes, blah, blah, blah. Kevin Hart's big for it. He has the Plastic Cup Boys. They all sit in a room, write these like perfect jokes just for Kevin Hart to go and perform. So I don't know. I don't know why I'm struggling to come to terms with it so much, because again, it's funny as fuck and people should hear it. So send me a DM if you think I should or shouldn't use it. Interested to see what you guys think. Last thing I watched this week, again, not breaking any what's the word? Like ground or barriers? I don't fucking know. But everyone's talking about this week, but it's good as an avid listener for the last, 5 or 6 years of Kill Tony. Much like Tony coming out at the roast this year and just showing everyone who the fuck he is. Last week's episode of Kill Tony, where Shane Gillis went on as Trump and Adam Ray went on as Joe Biden, and they just did this full episode as these two characters. Hilarious. Again, some of the funniest shit you'll ever see. And I listened to Adam Ray on Bert Kreischer's podcast just talk about how that all came about, and it was a complete spur of the moment thing of just like, Adam Ray was supposed to fly out of Austin because he'd just done his Dr. Phil shows there, and then Shane Gillis told Tony, he's like, I can stay in Austin for one more night if you want me on Kill Tony. And then Tony Hinchcliffe just has this masterful idea of, let's dress Shane up as Trump because they just had the first debate, and let's see if Adam Ray's makeup artist that does him as Dr. Phil can do him as Joe Biden. And Adam Ray said that him and Shane were stressing like the whole day before, because obviously Shane does these little spurts of Trump, like these little one-liners and things like that. But apparently he was peaking of like keeping up this impersonation for 3 hours or however long it went for, or 2 hours. I don't fucking know. But came together perfectly. Some of the funniest clips you'll ever see come out of podcasting off that episode. Just the awkwardness that Shane must have felt. There was a moment, there's like, Kill Tony is infamous for giving people with disabilities a platform and almost always crushing. Like, if you go on Kill Tony with a disability, you'll crush and possibly get made a regular. But they had a moment in the show where there was probably two or three people with like autism or whatever. Like, don't want to call them minor disabilities, but compared to what was coming up, that autism on the spectrum, things like that, right? So Shane Gillis just jumps on the mic and he's like, in the Trump voice, he's like, I think we need more retards on this show, Tony. And everyone's like, oh, fuck. And he just full goes in this hole. And then Tony calls out this dude's name, and this dude comes out and he's got like, I don't know how to explain it, but he's got severely deformed arms. And you just see Shane look down at the desk as if to say, what the fuck have I just done? And Adam Ray jumps on the mic and he just goes, careful what you wish for. And it was fucking hilarious. Go watch the clip. Again, I probably just murdered that as to how I explained it. But if you want to, oh, fuck, laptop's not on that side anymore, dickhead. Let me scroll down here. What do we got here? Couple of sporting things. I won't delve too much into them because they didn't really pique my interest too much. But the Blues took out the Origin this year, which I personally am stoked for. This pisses everyone off more than anything, and this is the reason why I do it, I think. I was born in Queensland, but go for the New South Wales Blues. have for as long as I can remember. And deep down, I think it's just because it pisses everyone off. But I think it's because back in the day when I first started getting into Origin, I was a big Andrew Johns fan. Michael DeVere that played for the Broncos, played for the Blues. I liked him. Just all the players that I liked happened to play for the Blues. And I was just like, oh, I can go for the Blues. And by the time I got old enough to realize it was like you had to go for where you're born or whatever, I was like, nah, I've supported the Blues for long enough. All through that, like 8 in a row, whatever it was, I was like, go the Blues. And again, I'll never wear like a Blues jersey or something out in public. Like I don't give a fuck that much. And again, this year I watched the series, not really giving too much of a fuck, but I was like, there was some good footy being played. And that game 3, one of the best, like I don't really watch footy anymore, but that game was pretty fucking sick. How tight it was, how like defensively good it was. And just to see the Blues get that win at Suncorp, no one thought they could do it. Put a little bit of that bonus bet money that I had the other day on them. That came through again. So everyone was winning that night. So congratulations to the Blues. There's fucking the thing that I hate about Origin is just how sooky and whiny everyone gets, and just how like defensive. Like fucking like if the Queensland loses, their defense is 8 in a row. Oh fucking yeah, but what about last year? And it's just like it was a good game of footy. The team lost. Like it pisses me off how emotional people get about their football team. But anyway, the other thing yesterday, not yesterday because it's Tuesday now. Mike Perry versus Jake Paul in boxing. I thought, and this happens every fucking time. I don't know why I doubt Jake Paul. I'm like the rest of the world, and every time I'm like, next fight, I'm not going to doubt him. But Mike Perry, I thought maybe he might get in there and get it done. Ex-UFC fighter, now bare knuckle boxing champion. But again, got knocked out by Jake Paul. And Jake Paul did not look fit in this fight. So I don't know what's going on there. But from all reports, I didn't watch the fight personally. I just watched the highlights. From all reports, it was a bit of a shit show. So kind of glad I didn't pay for it. But Jake Paul calls out Mike Tyson, which that fight was supposed to happen instead of this Mike Perry one, which eventually it might happen. And he also calls out Alex Pereira, UFC champion that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, which is pretty fucking insane if he's calling out that dude. Like the dude's an absolute killer. I don't know if that'll come to fruition just because of the way Dana has his tight hold on UFC fighters and things like that. But I mean, if it does, there's no way I'm betting on Jake Paul if he fights Alex Pereira. I'm going to go on record. There's no fucking way Jake Paul can beat Alex Pereira. No way in the fucking world. Anyway, premature premise. I've got nothing this week. I want to buckle down on the last few that I've thrown out there in the atmosphere. I think between Ash's joke last week and I think I said 2 of my premises that I'm working on stage last week during the podcast. So hopefully that'll get you through this week. But again, don't have anything. Stay tuned for next week. I just want to get these few knuckled down and firmed up, if that makes sense, before I end up with 6,000 premises that I've written nothing for. So motivational clip for the week. I don't know if this is necessarily motivational, but it's a cool clip that's popped up a few times for me recently. And it's from an old interview of Brad Pitt interviewing Adam Sandler. So I'll play the clip and then we'll delve into it a little bit like we always do. Just let me get it up here. Stay with me. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
This is my favorite Adam Sandler.
Oh, dickhead, it's not fucking connected. Hold on there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's connect the Bluetooth. I knew there'd be fucking something happening. Roadcaster. All right, let's try that again. Sorry about that, guys. Here we go. Nah, she's fucking broken. What is going on here? What is going on?
This is my favorite Adam Sandler story. You were at NYU.
Yes.
And it was an acting coach, I believe, or acting professor.
Acting professor, yeah.
He took you out for a beer.
Right.
You guys went to a bar.
Right.
And he kindly said to you,
Yes.
Think about something else.
Exactly.
You listen, you got a heart, but you don't have it. You don't have it.
Yeah,
and
right.
Choose another path.
Oh, yeah.
Truth?
That is, it was like that.
This is why it's my favorite Adam Sandler story, and I think it says a lot about you. That you ran into him at the heights, you know, when you're getting the ultimate payday, and you're with a bunch of friends, and you run into him out at a bar.
Yeah.
And anyone would think that's the opportunity where you go, you know, you rub it in his face. And reportedly, what you did was you said hi, and you introduced him to your friends, and you said, "This is the only teacher to ever buy me a beer."
Something like that. That's right.
I thought that was pretty fucking cool that he could have fucking rubbed it in his face, but he's just gone and done that. And I think, like, Adam Sandler has always been one of my favorites. Like, even growing up, I remember watching Happy Gilmore, Big Daddy, all the fucking big Adam Sandler movies, right? And just to see how grounded and normal he's easily one of the richest actors, producers, whatever the fuck you want to call him. And he's still out there selling out arenas, doing stand-up. Like, again, one of my favorite specials on Netflix is Adam Sandler 100% Fresh. And I fucking hated that the first time I watched it. And I watched it again probably 3 years ago and found it hilarious. I don't know why, but since then I've watched it probably 20 times. I find it so funny. But yeah, just so good. And you see him like at local basketball courts, just in the shittiest clothes you'll ever see. And even like I'll walk out of the bedroom in crappy clothes, just baggy pants, shitty shirt, and Nikita will be like, "Why can't you ever look good?" And I'm like, fucking Adam Sandler can pull it off, then so can I. So I thought that was a cool little story of, how he could have rubbed it in someone's face, but he just took the high road and just fucking, hopefully you guys related to that. I don't know where the fuck to go from there, but shows for the week. Wednesday the 24th, so the day this is coming out, I'll be at The Cellar at West End, always a fun gig, one of my faves. Thursday the 25th, I'll be at Appraise Surf again for the last time in a little while. Hopefully cap it off with a crush. I think all reports, the next time I'm at Appraise Surf, I might be the Master of Ceremony. I think that's what MC stands for. So we'll see how that plays out. And then obviously the one coming up, Sunday the 18th, Distillery Road Market. We have the next West Park comedy show going on there. So the lineup is pretty much firmed up. She's another fucking banger. So I'll probably announce MC and headliner and stuff next week. But yeah, book your tickets. I think looking at their Facebook thing, it's pretty well almost like allocation exhausted again. But as we learnt on the last one, just fucking rock up. There is enough room in that place to fit 20,000 people. So if it does say allocation exhausted, don't listen. Just come and just go, "Can we speak to Jimmy Misson?" And I'll fucking guide you to a table myself. So if I don't see you at that show, send submissions via DM on Instagram or through to cantgetanyworsepod@gmail.com. Share the podcast around. Like I said, let's blow this the fuck up. I'm keen to jump to that next level. I can fucking bring better guests, better content, better equipment, all the bells and whistles, but I need you guys to get behind me, give me that little boost I need, and let's grow together. Let's bump this shit, and I will see you later.